Welcome back in NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. We're breaking down the top 20 NFL free agents who are still unsigned following 53-man roster cuts and waiver claims and some of the early practice squad movement as well. Of note, this list could change very quickly. We are rapidly approaching week 1 of the NFL season. It certainly would not be a surprise and has already been changed several times before filming if it continues to get some more movement and adjustment on that front. So do keep in mind, depending on when you're actually watching today's show. Now, if you are excited for the NFL to truly be back, show it by liking today's video. I certainly am. I think everyone here at Chat Sports is. So if you are also in that mold, like the video for me right now. Let's go to number 1. That is Christian Wilkins with the obvious asterisks of what's going on over there. There's a lot of weirdness that's still lingering from the Christian Wilkins saga. The NFLPA grievance still ongoing. The health is a giant question mark for Christian Wilkins as well. He obviously played in 5 games last year, and then if we believe what the Raiders believe, that he has not handled the rehab the way he needs to and needs another surgery and on and on. And the talent is undeniably the best guy out there. When he can play, how he plays, what that looks like, everything else in between is a pretty big question mark. So he's number 1, but you know, you're unsigned in late August for reasons. Wilkins are pretty obvious. Justin Simmons continues to remain, I think, one of the best NFL free agents left unsigned. I am surprised he's unavailable. I know he's 31 years old and he's getting up there, but he's still a contributable player in the NFL. I look around the safety rooms across football and I go, yeah, you should probably consider adding somebody there. So some point soon, in theory, guys in this bucket, the older veterans should start signing, like a Justin Simmons, like a Za'Darius Smith. He's reportedly had offers, had interest from other teams. I was actually surprised he wasn't signed in the initial waiver free agency. Justin Simmons, like you get, because that happened last year too, but Smith was good last year. 9 sacks between the Browns and the Lions. He's been pretty consistent in recent years around that figure. If you are looking for a mercenary edge rusher, I don't think there's a better option available on the open market than Za'Darius Smith, who can kick inside a little bit too, and not that dissimilar from Jadeveon Clowney either. He may have burned some bridges over the years with the way he's acted and handled things and everything, but again, he's a mercenary edge who can contribute. And every other year he puts up 9 sacks. I don't think he's ever going to get to that magical 10-sack number, but hey, he is at least a rotational piece who's not a liability against the run. Some of these older edges are pass rush only. I think Clowney actually helps you against the run. Who do you believe is the best NFL free agent left unsigned? Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Who do you think is that best player still available? Number 5, and we might get some Asante Samuel write-ins here. I think that is good. There is medical stuff going on here. Like talent-wise, you could probably argue he's 2 or something. This was the update from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler yesterday. Originally, remember, Asante Samuel was going to get a checkup in July to ensure that everything went well over his neck surgery. Well, now he's going to get a CT scan in October to ensure that his spinal fusion went well. It's not good. You don't ever want to hear spinal fusion around any NFL player. So check it again in October. He's just not healthy right now, and we'll see if and when, hopefully when, he gets healthy. Let's go to Kyzir White. I thought he was kind of good last year for the Cardinals. I liked him. I think he was on or one of the first guys off my initial top 25 free agent list. He's productive. He can do coverage stuff. He's only 29 years old, which is he turned that right around the start of free agency. Why he is unsigned, I honestly don't have an answer. I don't think he's that old. I don't think he's that unproductive. Maybe there's an unknown injury. That's a possibility too. Or maybe I'm just too high on him. All right, number 7, Stephon Gilmore, the corner. Heavily linked to the Cowboys. Seems like they've moved in a different direction there. I think, again, mercenary corner. I don't think he has that much left in the tank. I think you can get one more year out of him. I think if he wanted to go to a crappy team, he probably could have already. But also the bad teams, they don't want to have older players, want to have young players. I think someone signs Gilmore. I mean, Rasul Douglas signed today, so he's finally found a spot. Or was it last night? Either way, he signed recently. Gilmore should be coming up soon too. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Preseason football is done. Regular season football is just around the corner. And oh, by the way, college football is here. So don't miss any of the action this season on Prize Picks. Always keep an eye out for their max discounts. Dak Prescott, a half passing yard, is a no-brainer to put into every single one of your Prize Picks slates because otherwise you're just leaving on the table for no good reason. Here's one of my Week 1 Prize Pick slates. Xavier Worthy, more than 3.5 yards on the ground. Ashton Genty, more than a half touchdown, so just the one. It's a half passing yard, a touchdown for Genty, and a reverse for Xavier Worthy. Who, is not going to have Rashee Rice. So I think it's a great lineup. You can ride me or fade me. That sounded weird. But download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that code CLNS on Prize Picks. Run your game. Number 8. Okay, first one of the more recent releases here. Kendrick Bourne, who Niners already being heavily linked, as with a reunion there. The Steelers are linked to every single wide receiver ever. Bourne hasn't been that great with New England. His production has declined on a pretty consistent basis, which actually should raise some red flags across the NFL. He's a vested veteran, so he gets to pick his next destination. I would bet he's going to try to find a spot to play soon, so he can get going for Week 1. There is a chance, just practice squad options for him, and then he gets called up game day-wise. That's true for several of these players since they've changed the rules on that a couple years ago. But Bourne, I think, is one of the more notable players who are available. Number 9, Eric Kendricks, the linebacker. He is still a free agent. I thought he played pretty well for the Cowboys last year. I was surprised he had such little interest there. Maybe that was just a Mike Zimmer thing, but I think he can still be a back-end, low-end starter. Maybe he wants to wait for an injury. He's been mostly healthy at linebacker across the NFL. Number 10, Hunter Renfrow. I kind of feel like he might be able to make the Panthers roster and came up just short in the end. Not to be punny or anything. They traded Adam Thielen. Maybe they have interest there. I think he did enough to justify getting a look somewhere on a practice squad now that he's unretired. If you guys want more NFL YouTube videos, hit that sub button. YouTube.com/@ChatSportsTV. Do not miss out. Hit that sub button for me right now. Number 11, Audric Estime, who, as I literally just popped up on the timeline, he's going to join the Philadelphia Eagles practice squad. So, like I said at the beginning, the stuff's going to change. So do make note for that for Estime. He's going to Philadelphia. I will do this note in general. Good time to remind everybody as we show up Estime's stats here. Just because you're on a practice squad doesn't mean you can't sign somewhere. If a team wants to go acquire Estime and join their 53-man roster later in the season, that is still possible. But Estime literally just joined, as I sit here filming this, the Eagles practice squad, per Jordan Schultz. So a different running back. Number 12, Gus Edwards on the list here. The Gus bus. When you're a running back and you don't get signed into August, I kind of wonder if it's over for you. That's my concern there for Edwards. Number 13, Isaiah Simmons, the linebacker, who I like him. I liked him, Edie, coming out of Clemson. I thought he was going to be a really good player. I was convinced he was going to be a star. Hand up accountability. He wasn't. Picked up by the Packers, you got to wonder what the future holds there for Simmons. So would you give him another shot? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments of today's show. Practice squad for sure, but beyond that, I don't know. Number 14, Dalton Risner, who did take some visits across the NFL, the Bengals, etc. I think Seahawks were one of them too. He's always been, recent years, kind of like the July, August, September signing guy. Someone should pick him up. I've seen the offensive line play in the preseason. They need help. I mentioned how it might be over for Isaiah Simmons. Hey, look, it might be over for Kenyon Green. If you can't make it, and he'll get the practice squad somewhere, I'm sure, but if you can't make it as a guard who is going to be developed by the Philadelphia Eagles, who traded for you, and they cut you, if you can't make it in Philly, I don't know if you can make it anywhere as an offensive lineman. Number 16, Kendall Fuller, the veteran corner, who does offer some inside-outside flex in a way that not everybody else does necessarily. I like Fuller. I think he can be, again, this is kind of the back end, low end, helping you out, trying to survive the season guy. I think he's declined in play. It's why he has been unsigned going into August. But in the break in case of emergency option, which if you're making free agency moves in August, you're breaking the glass in case of emergency, he does stand out. Mike Hilton, the cornerback. Look, I was with the Dolphins, got cut, visiting the Colts. We'll see what ends up happening. They claim some guys off of waivers. Maybe they pass in that direction. I think as a run-stopping nickel, kind of a weird phrase, as a run-stopping nickel, he can definitely help out there. Clelin Ferrell, cut by the Commanders at edge, the former surprise, where he went, at least first-round pick by the Raiders. Again, veteran edge could contribute somewhere. Gabe Davis went on a free agency tour not that long ago, and then had another free agency tour again and went to some other spots for a second time. He was bad last year for Jacksonville. I don't know how much we can blame Davis for that. That was kind of a bad situation, but he was always kind of a bit of a vertical only threat there, and maybe Pittsburgh revisits him. Certainly a name to monitor because I do think somebody eventually picks him up, but at this point, you're probably looking at a practice squad. Finally, Marcus Williams, the longtime Ravens and Saints safety. I don't know what his future looks like at this point. Like, he's only 28 years old, but there's been just a dearth of information of, like, interest on that front. So we'll have to keep an eye on that front there. All right, I want you to shout out your team and a player they should sign. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Some notable practice squad moves that I do want to make note of beyond the in the middle of filming one by Audric Estime. Terrible timing, it happens. Tyler Huntley back to the Ravens. Hendon Hooker to Carolina, by the way. Xavier Restrepo to Tennessee. Browns picking up both Malachi Corley and Cole Strange. Robert Woods to the Steelers. Beanie Bishop as well. Mike Edwards back to the Chiefs. So some notable re-signings there early for the practice squad.